hello everyone, and welcome back to the very next episode of The Remedy with Tova Sido and
Janice Gaunt and
Tom Bridwell.
Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
Well, okay.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Great.
Today's a beautiful day.
It is a lovely day.
It's easier to find energy that you don't have when it's sunny.
I know.
Not sweltering hot.
And all that rain that we've had has been crazy.
Did it rain a lot over the weekend? I wasn't here.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh.
Oh,
it
it
was
did?
flooding.
What day?
Streets
There was
were
some
flooding.
There were some like tornado warnings and
Yeah.
What day? What day?
Saturday. Wasn't it Saturday?
It was early Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Like before we woke up, 6
Yeah.
o'clock.
It was pouring.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good to know. I don't
Yeah.
have to run my sprinklers.
No, you don't.
I was in Durham, North Carolina at my godson's lacrosse game. That is fun. He plays for Duke.
That's so fun.
I've only been to 2 lacrosse games in my entire life.
I've never been to one.
They're
but
very fun.
Charlie May, one of my granddaughters, one of Bren's daughters, is playing lacrosse, and I can't. We were going to go to a game, but it was canceled because the fields were so wet because of the rain. So, I'm anxious to watch her play. Bren said she's pretty good.
I don't know how they catch that little ball in that net and
know.
then keep it in there
I know.
while they're getting hit by sticks.
I know.
It's very fast and competitive.
It looks painful.
Yeah. I was like, after the game, I was like, Max, are you always just really bruised? He said, after every game.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But it's an exciting sport to watch.
Yeah.
So anyway, okay, we got to thank our sponsors for this week. My dear friends, Julie Cooper and Paige Anderson.
Nice.
I know. They gave quite a contribution. So we have a few episodes.
Oh,
that we
that's
get.
so nice.
I know. They're so lovely, and they are hilarious, wonderful humans. And
You know,
great
Julie
friends.
used to live across the street from
Yes,
us.
she's told me that before.
It's really funny. When Kurt and I were married and we lived on Bryn Mawr, they lived across
you
the
had-
street.
when they were littles and you guys were growing up. She told me that one time.
Yeah.
I
so
can't even
cute.
imagine how cute she was as a little
She
girl.
was so cute.
Well, she's beautiful as
Yeah.
an adult, but now she's got 4 kids of her own.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I love her and Paige. So thank you guys so
Yeah, thank
much
y'all.
for being sponsors of this week's episode. If you would like to be a sponsor of an upcoming episode, we make it super easy. You can just Venmo at Tova-Sido. And every episode's about $200. So the boy Tom can get paid.
He votes for that,
Yes,
don't you?
he does vote for that. Okay, so Janice, you found a really fun topic for us to talk about today. 12 steps to learn to like yourself. So this article was found in Psych Central, which was a website I've never heard of before. But
I check that website out occasionally.
well, this article I thought was outstanding. The thing I guess that struck me the most in the few paragraphs introducing this idea
Yep.
was this person, I don't know who the author is, but this person's opinion, and I don't know if it's rooted in research, but he didn't quote any research, but he or she talked about how there are a lot or substantial amount of people who have a difficult time liking themselves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are so many people who don't like themselves.
That made me so sad.
Oh my gosh, but it's so true. I mean, it's called self-esteem. And really, I guarantee you, if you took a poll, most people would not have a very high level of self-esteem. I think a lot of people look at themselves in the mirror and just go to town criticizing different aspects of them, or they don't think they're doing it right enough, or they don't have the right partner. So, not liking yourself or even appreciating who you are I think a lot of it comes from our family of origin work. There's a really good book called The Shame Game by Janice Gaunt.
I recommend it to everybody. I really do. It's a life-changing book.
But it is all about shame and where that comes from. And it does come from our family of origin. You know, I mean, we learn how to like ourselves by watching our parents and by what they say or how critical they are of bodies or their hair or whatever it is. And so if people don't like themselves, what typically happens is first of all, they become depressed because it is so much of our self-value comes from our self-esteem, which is I like myself. I'm not perfect, but I have a little quote that's on my bathroom mirror that says, you are always enough, and don't let anybody tell you anything differently. And I just think that's a really, really, really important thing.
Yeah.
Is that we learn to value ourselves in our imperfection because we're human.
Yes.
And so if you don't like yourself, what we're hoping will happen is that you can learn to like yourself.
Because you can. You
Yes.
can turn that around.
Oh, you can totally turn that around. And it's more, you know, it's more about being able to recognize the parts of us that are valuable. If it's kindness, if it's your joy factor or generosity, or I mean, there's so
Your
many
intelligence.
ways. Yeah, your intelligence. So
it's taking the focus on the parts of you that are not enough, because there's parts of all of us that are like human.
yeah. Well, and what it leads to too is people pleasing. Because if I don't have enough value for myself, then I'm going to try to, tap dance around and please everybody else. I won't be honest. I won't say what I like. I won't ask people to change behaviors or whatever. So it affects you in all areas of your life.
One of the things, it doesn't surprise me at all to know that, or to assume that if my mom or dad were highly critical of me, that I in turn, or highly critical of themselves, that I wouldn't learn that and become that highly critical of myself as well. Whether it was because it was something they did to me as with their parenting style, or what was modeled for me.
Yeah.
I'm counseling a girl right now who's young, in her 20s, and her mom is so sweet, and she's a lovely human and wonderful mother, but her mom is highly critical of herself. And so this was modeled for her. Like, what do? You beat yourself up.
You learn it. You
tear yourself down. You find all the things that are wrong with you in the mirror. So if that was modeled for her, even though she didn't do that as a parent to her daughter, that behavior was shown to her. When you look in the mirror, you find everything that's wrong with you. That doesn't surprise me that wears on you as a child. But what I read in here that I did was like, oh, that's interesting. If your parents weren't super supportive of you, they said that can be a factor as well.
Yeah, exactly.
If you weren't worth them taking an interest in, that could also affect your self-esteem as an adult.
Yeah.
Makes sense, but it's not something that I have ever really thought of.
Yeah. I mean, as a parent, it's important that we really understand that we are the creators, for the most part, of our children's self-value, their perspective about themselves. Yeah.
God,
so
that's a lot of
I think, and
responsibility.
it doesn't mean that you're not going to say, okay, that behavior needs to change, but the way that you do it is, look, I understand that that's what you want to do. That's not going to work in this house, but I love you very much, and you are just way too precious to me to just let you get away with that.
Yeah.
So
that's a great way
it
to
doesn't mean
communicate
you don't discipline or you don't set
Sure.
limits or anything like that, Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
So, what percent of humanity, of the humans walking around on Earth, do you think struggle with self-esteem, Janice? If you had to put a percent on it,
I'm going to guess, I don't know, 50%, 60%.
Oh, I would have thought it'd been way higher.
More than that?
I do. Because I think that this is just my opinion. I have nothing to back this up on. It's my opinion that in order to get through the negative talk of you and get to the other side of good self-esteem, I think you have to do the work. I think you have to go to therapy. I think you have to for me, and again, I have nothing to back this up.
I think that now it's better than it used to be because we know now how important that self-esteem or that self-value is. And I think that it's better than it used to be because there was so much physical punishment and all of that stuff that is very demeaning to children, and telling them they're stupid or they're ugly or they're fat or they're too skinny or whatever it is, but I do think now we know. And the good news is now we do know how people can change this for themselves. And that's what we're going to talk about today are the ways that we can improve our self-esteem.
Yeah.
Or our self-value.
How do we stop having these negative voices in our heads? So I loved all of these steps. There's 12 of them, 12 steps to learn to like yourself. So one of the questions real quick before we get into the 12 is ask this question that I liked. Is it normal to not like yourself? And the guy said, or the girl, I don't know who authored this, but he says it is normal. It is not abnormal to go, especially to go through phases or stages of your life where you didn't like yourself. Like I definitely like myself more today than I ever have in years before.
Yeah.
I've had to go through stuff.
Sure.
Have you always liked yourself, Tom?
Yes, but I guess there's parts of myself that have always kind of irked me. But no, in general, as a whole, yes, I'm not disappointed in how I've turned out.
Relatively speaking, you think you have pretty good self-esteem.
Yes. I have self-esteem. Yes. No question.
That's great.
Yeah.
Janice, do you think gender struggles with it? Like, do you think men struggle more than women or women struggle more than men?
Well, I think men do not talk about it as much as women, but I think it's a little more difficult for women because of the whole beauty and that sort of imagery. That stuff, I think, is harder for women. I don't think that, guys are quite as sensitive about some of that.
Or judgy.
Yeah. So... Yeah. I think that, I'm like you. I feel better about myself than I ever have. And that feels really good.
It does feel really good. That's why I do feel bad for people who
it's terrible.
Who don't. I mean, I remember being in the 6th grade and there was a girl who I just thought was so beautiful. And so perfect. And I remember really putting myself up against her that young.
Yeah, you know what? I think that 12 years old, so when you think about that, entering adolescence, that's when it all kind of starts.
It's like your eyes are open.
Your eyes are open. I grew up for the first 10 years of my life in a small West Texas town called Brownfield, and the water had too much of something in it. And so people had brown stain on their teeth. And so I had brown stain on the front, on my 2 big teeth in the front. And they used to tease me and say, Janice smokes cigarettes. Janice, you know,
That would
made
kill
fun.
me.
I know. And then,
And
of
the
course,
town was called Brownstein?
no, Brownfield.
Oh, interesting.
It is interesting. I thought the same thing.
It's 30 miles from Lubbock. And so, and then when I was 16, they were able to bleach that brown stain off. But they teased me so much about it.
That's
and then, of course,
horrible.
at 16, I started smoking cigarettes. But my teeth were good.
You have beautiful teeth.
But it's, you know, but that's a very vulnerable age. And to be able to encourage, as a parent, to encourage your children that as they start entering into adolescence, that's when it all starts to come down. If they aren't encouraged to really like themselves. And, you know, and as parents, we can say to them, you know, I love the fact, you know, let's say if Wesley was, when she was little, and I would say, Wesley, you know what? I love the fact that you have so many friends and you are always so kind to them, or I love that you can make up your bed so well, or, you know, just being the encourager for kids at that age, I think is really important.
Well, I could not agree more, but it's so hard to find that balance as parents because we forget how important it is to be encouraging and loving and supportive. And because did you bring me your laundry? Did you put away your clothes? Did you do your dishes? You know, it's like we're so busy making sure we're trying to create these responsible and da-da-da.
Well, I don't think that that's bad. I think it's when we're critical of them. You never make your bed, or you never get your laundry, and I'm sick and tired of you. That is a whole different thing as, hey, don't forget to get your laundry. You know.
You're right. And but I guess what I'm saying even more than that, even though you're so right about that, is if that's the only voice they ever hear, is the one that's the manager, the corrector, the like not encouraging them. It is all about the framing. You know, it's all about how you frame it. And if we're spending all this time talking about how they suck.
Well, and I mean, it is our job to help teach our children to be responsible for themselves and to do some of those things. It's so much of it's about the way you do it and the way you say it.
100%.
You know?
The way you frame it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go through these. You want to start with number 1?
Yeah.
Take care of yourself?
So this is how we're going to go through how to begin to like yourself more. Number 1, take care of yourself. Research indicates that regular exercise and a healthy diet can improve overall health and well-being. Consider setting a goal of 12 to 3 hours of moderate physical activity every week. This can look like going on walks, practicing yoga, joining a workout class, going for a bike ride, etc. While exercising and eating healthy is essential to your well-being, you also must feel good about who you are on the outside. This could mean taking care of your appearance and dressing in a way that makes you feel comfortable and confident.
I'm all about this.
I know. It makes a big difference.
Totally makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Taking care of yourself. If I did not take care of myself, it would really, and my home. If I did not take care of myself in my home, it would really affect how I felt about myself.
Yeah.
For sure.
I agree. Yeah.
Number 2, you want to tackle that one, Tom?
Sure. Identify your strengths. You might focus on your weaknesses and shortcomings when you don't like yourself. Shifting your thought process and thinking about your strengths can make you feel better and release some of the negativity. If this doesn't come naturally to you, you might want to try journaling about the things you like about yourself and what you are good at so you have something positive to look back on when you're feeling low. You can also call up a friend and ask them what they think your strengths are.
Yep, love it. It's so true. You know, I know we've talked about this before. Back in the day, there was Terrell Owens was the football player that said, "I love me some me," and I took that and did it. You know, put it in my practice and said, you know, start with the alphabet and go on a walk and think of something really good that you like about yourself for every letter of the alphabet to start practicing that idea. And I think that when we recognize what we're good at, it'll help us feel better about what we're not so good at.
Yes.
So,
and every single human walking planet Earth has 2 lists.
yeah.
And you're not any different, that you have humanness, that you have flaws, that you have weaknesses. But it's like what you water grows.
Yeah.
You know, so do you want to water where your weaknesses all day, every day, or would you rather focus on your strengths? So I
think people focusing on their strengths is absolutely essential for people who have depression. Because I think depression is fed with negativity about the self.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important.
Yes. I think the next one is equally as important for people who are experiencing low self-esteem and depression. It says express gratitude for who you are. Practicing gratitude by embracing your gifts, abilities, and life itself can help you learn to appreciate yourself. It allows you to focus on the positive aspects of your life rather than thinking about the things that you wish were different. You can think of all the small ways you take care of yourself each day that you may take for granted. Thank yourself for moving your body today, feeding yourself, going to work, watering your plants, making your bed. You do more than you realize, and it's worth taking a second to thank yourself for everything you do. You can also take a moment to thank the environment and the people who give meaning to your life.
Yeah, gratitude.
Oh, the gift and the importance of expressing gratitude and finding things to be grateful for. You know, I don't love every part of my body, but I can find a lot more things to be grateful for about my body than I can to be critical about. And so it's, again, where you put your time, your effort, your words,
your focus.
Your focus is what will grow inside of you.
Yeah, for sure.
And I just think all of us have way more to be grateful for than we need to be critical about.
I agree. Okay, number 4, avoid comparing yourself to others. Comparing yourself to others often leads to not liking yourself. Comparing yourself can diminish your self-confidence and cause you to question your worth. You will likely notice an improvement in how you feel about yourself if you work to stop the comparisons. When you do this, you're comparing yourself. Try to remind yourself that other people's wins are not your losses, and there's room for everyone to thrive in their lives.
I love that other people's wins are not your losses.
Yeah.
That's
There's
really
enough.
good.
There are more wins out there.
And
that comparing is just, it can really kick your rear.
I think it's just a killer.
Yeah.
And I think the next one, limiting social media exposure, goes hand in hand with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll read it, but
Okay.
But then we can talk about both. If you compare yourself to people on social media, you can remember that you're comparing yourself to their highlight reel. Many photos get edited to look perfect, and comparing yourself is unfair. Consider limiting your... Oh, shoot. I was trying to get rid of a text and it flew my thing up. Sorry. Comparing yourself can diminish your self-confidence and cause you to question your worth. Sorry. I'm really messing up here. Okay. Even taking one day out.
It's all right. You're still really good. You're worth it.
Thank you.
You were on Instagram. You know it.
Yeah, right. Many photos get edited to look perfect, and comparing yourself is unfair. Consider limiting your social media exposure if it becomes an issue in your life. Even taking one day out of the week to distance yourself from social media and focus on the real world can help you ground you and remind you that what goes on social media ultimately doesn't matter. I just think it's poison.
Yeah.
I just think it's poison. It's really doesn't move my needle. I'm not saying it's because I'm better than anybody else, but social media does not impact me in that way.
Me neither.
But I know that both of us have seen the negative impact that social media can have on people's self-esteem and self-worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the stories that we tell they tell themselves about who they are in comparison to who other people are. We've all heard that. You're comparing your deepest, darkest spots with their highlight reel. It's a no-win game.
Well, and the thing is, I mean, the social media is all about drumming up followers. That's why people post things, because they want the followers. Mm-hmm. And so it's just so unreal. It's not the reality of life, the way it looks. Everybody, I laugh. I mean, I look at all these families and they post these family photos and everybody's just acting like it's, everybody's just so happy and everything.
And we know a lot
we know that's probably not all true, but it's okay.
Totally. It's so okay. But
yeah.
But I do, but I mean, this weekend, I was with one of my very best friends from decades of friendship, and she's married to just the sweetest, most amazing man, and they've had 30 years of a beautiful marriage, and they have 2 beautiful children, and they just have a really good family, and it's hard for me sometimes when I'm around them, because I get that those are the kinds of situations. I rarely do it, but I do wish I didn't get divorced. I wish I had.
Yeah, but you don't know everything that goes on in any family.
No,
but
I don't.
We can look at what we think and then beat ourselves up, like you said, like getting a divorce and all of that.
But I did it this weekend. I mean, and I love myself, and I'm proud of my life, and I love my family, and I have a good, sound mind, and yet I still found myself just for 1 second looking. We all took Tyler to dinner that's the husband, for his birthday, and the kids are just going around saying what they love about their dad. I mean, it just looks perfect, and I know it's not. She's one of my best friends.
Yeah.
I know it's not, but we all get those twinges every once in a while, even and that's a normal human thing to do, but it is so important to remember that's a highlight reel that I'm seeing, and it's not. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, and it's not perfect.
I don't feel that way. I would not change one thing about. I'm glad that I am where I am, and I think that it's where I needed to be, and it could have been differently. It could have been different, but it's not, and I don't really envy when I look at some of those photos, of all those families, and wish that it was different.
Well, I'm grateful too. So it's not that I don't have gratitude for where I am. I think probably for my kids, I don't know the psychology behind it all. I haven't broke it down from the weekend, but what I can say, is I look at myself as having relatively very high self-esteem, and I can still have moments of again, I know all the psychology. I can be like, I know it's not perfect. I know, but we are all just human.
Yeah.
We are all just human.
Yeah.
And so I really do understand why my daughter looks at social media, especially the way that she grew up and the generations that she's in. And it is a mind F
Oh, it is.
for
It is.
these kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to have a lot more undoing than even we did,
Yeah.
I think.
Well, we didn't have social media.
No, we had our parents,
Uh-huh.
and we didn't have as encouraging parents as I think our children have.
Yeah.
So that was our
Yeah.
where we stubbed our toe. But this whole social media thing for our kids,
Yeah, it's a thing.
and your grandkids and my grandkids one day, it's
Yeah.
going to be tough.
Well, hopefully they'll have a really good self-image, and that'll kind of roll off their backs.
I sure hope so.
Me too.
Okay, Tom, you want to tackle number 6?
Focus on positive thinking. A negative thought process can lead to not liking yourself. You can switch your thought process and focus on positive thinking to help you find neutral territory. Eventually, positive thinking can lead to loving yourself, but take it one step at a time. You can try replacing negative thoughts with positive ones, promoting an optimistic outlook on life. It can increase self-confidence and help you feel better about who you are. Studies show that rumination or analyzing and focusing on trauma or a past event can lead to self-critical thoughts. Switching your mindset and focusing on positive thinking in these instances is essential, or it could contribute to depression. This change in thinking may feel forced at first, but that's okay. Stick with focusing on the positive, and positive thinking will eventually begin happening naturally.
Yeah, I think that is without a doubt the most important part of all of this.
Yep.
To be able to
Thought
help
replacement.
create your identity to yourself and your self-esteem is thought replacement. And when you find yourself having that negative thought about yourself, just replace it.
And even if you have to fake it
Yeah.
until you make it,
Exactly.
that research shows that thought replacement does impact the way that you see
it does.
and look at yourself.
It affects your neurotransmitters. They will be flooding when we're loving ourselves. Those neurotransmitters are going to be released, and people are going to feel good about themselves, and they'll feel happy, and they'll have more energy. So it is nice to know that we can do something about that. We're
we
not
can
victims of
change
all of it.
our mind.
Yeah, we can.
We can. But I have to say, I think this is probably one of the most difficult things to do. At least it's my experience that as many times as I've told this to people, that their default is to go to the thought process that they've always gone to. It's their default is, oh God, I'm fat. Oh, look at my stomach. When you look in the mirror and that's your default and that's where you go, that's where you stay. But if you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I have nice shoulders, or, ooh, I love my legs, or you focus on the things that you do love, it does start to change your mind.
It can definitely change your mind.
I could not agree more that this has the opportunity to have the biggest impact.
Yeah.
But I also have to say, it's my experience that it's something that's really hard for people to do.
Yeah, it's a practice. That's
it is a
for
practice.
sure. Yeah.
That's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
Number 7, I love this one. Be kind to others. I mean, being kind to others can help you like yourself better. Acts of kindness can improve your self-confidence because you'll feel like a kind and generous person. Without acts of kindness towards others, your self-image might plummet, leading to not liking yourself as much. Janice, I remember when I was getting divorced.
Yeah.
You told me on the days that you're feeling the lowest, try to go do something nice for somebody.
Makes a difference, doesn't it?
And I held that advice closely, and I did. On the days that I felt the worst, I wrote a note to a friend. I dropped off flowers. I made soup for somebody. I smiled when I didn't want to smile. Like small acts of kindness when
Can change the world.
can change yourself, your world.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really believe in this one.
I do too. And I don't think you can overdo it.
I don't either.
Yeah. I always try to. I have this, our male woman is she's probably in her 30s. And, you know, I always think when I see male men and women out there, and I always think, you know, that's not a bad job because you get lots of exercise and everything. But because she has such a pleasant demeanor, when I always try to meet her at the door. If I see her walking up, then I'll
so
go
sweet.
open the door and just say, "Thank you so much. How's your day?" And just chat with her a little bit, because it's you know, her job is getting the mail, going to the doors, dropping it off, you know, and just
Very little interaction.
and really, and then when I shut that door, I feel better. So it's really kind of for me, and hopefully it'll make her day a little brighter, you know. But
That is so sweet.
But to be appreciative of some of those people, I think is really one way that can help us pull ourselves out of any negativity. Yeah, cool.
That's such a small gesture, but all those little small gestures, like, they add up.
They do.
I really believe in it.
Me too.
And I love the next one. You go with this one.
Okay, prepare for upcoming events. Taking the time to prepare for upcoming events can help you like yourself. Studying for tests and setting aside the time you need to prepare can help you trust yourself. You're more likely to feel good about yourself if you know that you did what was necessary to achieve your goals. Tests aren't the only thing you can prepare for to feel better about yourself. You can also plan for upcoming meetings, dinner parties, or events. Consider taking the time to think about any experiences coming up in your life so you can do what you can to prepare. Isn't that interesting?
I wouldn't
Yeah.
have expected this one.
Me neither.
But I think procrastination deeply affects your self-esteem.
Yes, I think so too. I think you just feel better about yourself when
do.
you get it
When you're
all.
Johnny on the spot.
Yeah. Love that.
I do too. I think that's. I feel so much better when my broom's clean, when I'm unpacked, when all my stuff's put away.
Yeah, me too.
You know, when your house is all clean and everything's organized and my to-do list is done, it's like, here we go. You know?
Dishwasher's empty.
Yes, it all makes you just feel a little bit
does.
better. Another thing that I hear in this is, I think it's important to have something fun to look forward to.
I think so too.
I think that's something that you and I do really well. Tom, you too. I feel like you do this well as well. Like, I feel like we do a good job, like, planning, like, tomorrow you leave for or Wednesday you leave for Mexico.
Yeah.
And I feel like you always have something fun to look forward to.
And it
affects
fun.
your joy.
Oh my
and-
gosh, yes.
Yeah, I hear that. Like, plan something fun.
Yeah.
Have something fun to look forward to. Tom, you want 9?
Sure. Surround yourself with positive people. Spending time with critical people who tear you down and make you feel bad about yourself
Never.
isn't beneficial.
Never.
It can interfere with how you view yourself. Letting go of anyone who makes you feel unworthy can help you learn to like yourself. Consider taking the time to develop a friend group that supports you and your dreams. They might offer constructive criticism because they want to see you do well. You can focus on the people who want what's best for you and spend less time with negative people.
This is a non-negotiable.
Yeah, amen.
This is just a non-negotiable for me.
And you know, sometimes as with our jobs, we have people come in and they're in a really kind of a negative space, and I will remind myself that that's why they're here. Something in their life has changed. But sometimes I'm really glad when they're gone. because some of it is hard. You have to be protective of people, and I've had friends and that would that just kind of just wallow in some sort of a negativity state, and it's really hard.
It's really
hard to be around.
It is really hard to be around.
You feel like you need to get in a spacesuit or something that it won't
get me out of here.
Won't penetrate.
Well, I think that you and Tom, I've experienced this with you as well, do a really good job surrounding ourselves with people who elevate us. I would
fun.
Yeah, happy, positive people who contribute to our lives and aren't Draculas. And
it's a blessing for sure.
It is. But I just I couldn't spend my time around a super negative person.
Nope, me neither.
I don't want to.
Can't do it. Me neither.
I just don't want to. Okay, number 10, set goals that are small and achievable. Achieving goals will make you feel better about yourself, helping you learn to like who you are. It can also help you set up for future success as you know you can achieve your goals. You can set small goals that are easily achievable while still challenging yourself. It can help you recognize your strengths and love who you are. Each time you reach a goal, increase what you wish to achieve next. Progressing in increments is powerful and helps keep you motivated while teaching you to like yourself. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's really important to have achievable goals.
Yeah.
I have big goals, but I don't need to attain all of it.
Yeah.
Right now today.
Yeah, no.
I can have that as I hope one day, but
yeah.
I'm really glad I did today good.
Some days we need a nap.
Yeah. Lots of days I need a 30-minute cat nap.
I know.
I love them.
Me too.
Okay, you want 11?
Yep. Practice self-compassion. Practicing self-compassion can prove beneficial to your well-being and thought process. You can experience more positivity in life, contributing to liking yourself more. Experts explain that self-compassion involves being kind to yourself, practicing mindfulness, and focusing on humanity. Yep.
Why do you think it's so hard for people to have compassion for themselves? It's my experience that can be very compassionate to other people and yet so incredibly hard on themselves.
I think that they were taught that. I just think that's a learned behavior.
It just goes back to that.
Yeah, I really do. Because, when children are born, when they are running around walking and all that, they're free-spirited. They don't have any negative self-esteem until they learn that. And I just think
they don't have it until they do.
Yeah, they kind of don't.
Yeah, we weren't born with low self-esteem.
No. No, not at all.
I mean, if anything, I think we were born with high self-esteem.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think that's a God.
That's why babies cry and scream, is because they need something or they want something.
Yeah, but you tell a little 4-year-old girl how pretty she is, and she says, "I know." I'm like, when the hell did we lose that?
I know. I think you're pretty.
I know. I mean, what if we said that?
Let's do that.
We should be.
We should be.
We should be able to say things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Tom, you tackle 12.
All right, number 12. Try therapy.
Or listen to the remedy.
Yes, exactly. Listen to the remedy. Call Tova. Call Janice.
Going up on my price.
Therapy can help you recognize negative thinking habits that are inaccurate or harmful. It can also help you develop coping methods to alleviate stress and focus on the positive parts of your life. A therapist can help you recognize specific issues in your life that contribute to your disliking yourself. Golly, the grammar in this thing has been pretty bad, I have to say.
That's hilarious. So, I mean, of course I believe in this.
Yeah, me too.
I think therapy is essential.
Well, it helps to get those thoughts out of our head and have them leave our tongue and have somebody hear it. And then to have somebody that has compassion for you that can help you muddle through some of these things that we've talked about today. If you need help with it, or it's so great today because you can go online and find a therapist. Then it is really phenomenal.
And there's a lot of free resources.
Yes.
There are. I mean, I can't believe how many resources exist even for people who think they can't afford therapy.
Yeah, and there are 12-step groups that people
Yes.
can join, and they're really helpful, and you get some positive feedback and some thought changing, and so don't give up.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Do you think everybody can benefit from therapy?
Yeah, I think if there's any, I don't think everybody needs to go once a week or once a month even. I think if they are open to when something is kind of got them wrapped up or held down, that's a good way to say it. Then that's when you call your therapist. I mean, I have a therapist. I always
have a therapist.
I always tell people don't ever see a therapist that doesn't have a therapist. But so that we can get that sort of new perspective. I think it's very important, and I just think life is too precious that we want to live it with a joyful heart.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. I have two people that were very dear to me who died last week, and they're
What?
5 to 10 years older than me, and heart attack.
What?
Yes. Men.
How old were they?
One was 61 and the other was 55. and like totally unexpected. And both of their wives found them. And
gosh.
And
I'm
or
so
actually
sorry.
one was found by their brother. It doesn't matter. My point is, it's so true, Janice, that we don't know. We have no idea when we're going to go and transition to the other side. And I think the other side is going to be spectacular.
Me too.
I don't have any fear about that.
Me neither.
But what I do want to be sure is that my legacy here is good to go.
Yeah.
Whenever I'm good to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to be the best version of myself
And enjoy
Yes.
life. And
love my people and surround myself with dear friends and just be happy and a better
Yep.
version of myself.
Well, and that is when we take care of ourselves and we have high enough self-esteem, our lives will be joyful.
Yes.
And so do it and
Yes.
live it and have
Yes.
fun.
And there's no excuse not to.
No,
There's really
it's not dress rehearsal.
no. So I don't know. It just has really hit me
Oh,
in the
bad.
last.
I'm so sorry.
I mean, even my son sent me a text like, to the family group, like we have to live our best life. Like we never know. It's so precious. And I'm like, yes, learn this lesson now. But I think a big part of that is looking at yourself, taking a good look at yourself, asking yourself, do I feel as good about myself as I could and as where I want to? And if not, do the work.
Yeah.
I think the best part about this podcast and this topic is this is something that we can change.
Yeah.
That's so hopeful.
And it's not complicated. It's pretty simple. It's
actually
just a
pretty
practice. You just have to practice it.
Amen. So
Yeah.
do the work.
Yep. Okie dokie.
And have a great week.
Yes.
And thank you so much for listening.
Thanks for listening.